Tonight I have some very personal news to share with you. I've spent my whole adult life in fear of getting breast cancer. I watched the disease ravage my beautiful mother. So when I was diagnosed with breast cancer about 2 weeks ago, it made me cry, and it literally brought me to my knees. And I've struggled since then with what I should say to all of you, because so many of you are my friends, how much to share, if I should share anything at all. But there are these big billboards of me all over Tampa Bay that say, hey, watch me at 5. Maybe you've seen them. And now I'm going to be gone for a while. I'm the health reporter. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And over the last 17 years, I've asked so many of you to share your truth with me. So I can't just disappear for a while without sharing mine with you. My mother, Connie Yoakum, blessed me with her dark hair and eyes, her sense of humor, and her compassionate heart. But I always feared she would also pass on a genetic time bomb. I was away at college when she found a lump. After a mastectomy and chemotherapy, like this bad secret, my mom just packed up all the talk about breast cancer and threw it away. Medical treatment bought my mom time, but eventually that cancer came back. Despite chemo and a stem cell transplant, I had to watch the sun set on my mom's once magical life, and that painful experience tattooed a very raw fear inside of me. Was I next? Over the years, I have been diligent, I promise, getting mammograms, ultrasounds, MRIs, getting second opinions on suspicious areas until finally I said, okay, enough. I was married, I'd had my kids, so I took a genetic test to see if I carried the BRCA1 or 2 gene. Mine came back negative. I was so relieved that this devil that had been haunting me, always close but never in sight, would finally just leave me alone. I was so sure I was no longer at risk, I almost did not get my annual mammogram. You know why I did? All of you. I thought about all the times as a health reporter I've begged women to go get their mammogram. Here I was talking the talk, but not walking the walk. And I really just didn't want to be a hypocrite. So I came here. And it saved my life.
The calcifications that I see now are new compared to your prior mammogram.
Calcifications are actually common.
Scattered all over in general is a benign distribution, not associated with cancer. If they are grouped, then it's a little bit more of an interesting thing for us to look at. And yours are grouped.
A needle biopsy removed those calcifications. Pathology came back atypical hyperplasia, not cancer. A bitter relief, but my surgeon knew my family history and my fear and asked if she could take more. And that's when we found the ductal carcinoma in situ, or DCIS, breast cancer.
This is the earliest form of breast cancer that we can find.
I know I should have just been focusing on the fact that my cancer was probably 100% curable. But in truth, all I could really focus on was, now we're going to see if I really had the guts to do what I always swore I would do if cancer caught up with me. Eliminate the risk by removing both of my breasts. A little extreme? Consider this.
And so if you said to me, Dr. Gardner, are these other spots okay, or could they be atypical, or could I have DCIS in the other spots? The answer is absolutely you could.
After watching my mother die, and now seeing the fear in my own children's eyes, I decided to only dance with this devil once.
By removing both breasts, your studies have quoted that you're at least 90% risk-free after that. In my estimation, it's closer to 98, 99%.
To be perfectly honest, my decision to have Dr. Charles Cox do my surgery had to do with more than just getting rid of the cancer and reducing my risk. Dr. Cox is now doing a mastectomy that leaves women looking as if they've just gone in for breast augmentation. The outside is all you. The inside an implant, the scar, is hidden. When I saw pictures of some of his results, I felt hope for the first time since my diagnosis.
That's what we're really about, is providing hope. Hope for the patients to get through this without it being such a devastating outcome for them emotionally, physically, and spiritually.
So now I'm leaving for about 4 to 5 weeks to take action for my own health. I will be back, God willing, cancer-free. And if you can do one thing for me after hearing my story, it would be to schedule a mammogram. If you haven't had one in a while, that's how they picked it up on me. If you can't afford it, I have put together a website that has some information on it where you can get free or reduced cost mammograms in the Tampa Bay area. I've also put up a number of stories that I've done over the years, because I've done a lot on breast cancer, like how to do a proper self-breast exam. I want to take action for all of us women because we are in this together. You can keep up with me on my Facebook page, Linda Hurtado, WFTS. Under pages, I'll post when I can, when I feel up to it, when the drugs wear off. Leave me a comment and share your thoughts or your personal experiences. It'll be like you're holding my hand all the way through it, like Brendan's holding mine right now, and I'd really like that.
Linda, you have our respect, you have our love, and you have our support throughout this entire ordeal, during and after.
And I just want to say 2 people in the newsroom have already scheduled their mammograms. One had not had one in 5 years. I'm so happy about that. And also, this is my decision. Doesn't mean it's the right decision. If I've learned anything in the last 2 weeks, it's that every woman has their own journey. And you just have to have the courage to make up your own mind and begin. Well, today is my first day back after being off for 5 weeks on medical leave. I was diagnosed with breast cancer, a disease that took both my mother and my grandmother. I was very fortunate that my cancer was caught early, which gave me options. And that is what I wish for all women who find themselves walking down the road that I have just been on. So my message today is not about my cancer, but about early detection and what we all can do to give every woman a choice and a chance.
I'm scared. I still can't believe.
I've met many women in the 17 years I've covered news here in Tampa Bay. Like Nancy Kirshner, who emailed me in a panic. She had no insurance but needed surgery to survive invasive breast cancer.
I'm not real happy.
Tampa's Judeo-Christian clinic found a local surgeon willing to cut Nancy's cancer out at no charge. But as we sat together on a bed at St. Joseph's Hospital after her double mastectomy, we both kind of knew she caught the cancer too late.
I just still can't believe that this happened to me and that I'm in this situation. And it could have been prevented.
Because Nancy did not have insurance, she skipped getting a mammogram for 4 years. Nancy's death left me wondering what I could have done differently to help her. I was diagnosed with breast cancer about 2 weeks ago. It made me cry, and it literally brought me to my knees. So after my own diagnosis and the outpouring of support from the community, I decided to turn the spotlight on resources for the underinsured.
Oh!
These men and women from the Silver Dollar Shooting Club in Odessa raise money annually for breast cancer using pink shotgun shells and pink targets.
Having a grandmother who died from breast cancer, it was close to my heart.
Everyone out there is just trying to find a cure for this disease that has just taken so many lives.
I was watching Channel 28 one evening, and I saw the segment that Linda did on breast cancer before she went in for her operation. And I thought it would really be nice if we asked Linda if she had a local charity that we could donate to, and that way we'd keep our donation here locally.
And I appreciate the effort. And I wanted the more than $3,000 raised to go back to the hospital and medical professionals that saved my life and into the Florida Hospital Foundation's program for the uninsured.
Funds have been raised now 3 consecutive years for women who are uninsured and for women who have no symptoms, 40 years and older.
There are many more resources for the uninsured in our area, and I'll have more on that for you in just a moment. But on a personal note, 5 weeks after my own double mastectomy, I can now share what cancer has taught me. That you can face your worst nightmare and survive. That my husband does love me like he vowed he would, for better, for worse, in sickness and in health. That there are kind bosses out there like my husband's at PSI and mine right here at ABC Action News that will support you through the storm. That family is the net below the high wire we may all have to walk one day. That my mother-in-law's chicken noodle soup really is good for my soul. And that I have more friends than I could have ever imagined. And that each of you who reached out to me during my ordeal have had a hand in my recovery. I call you the seeds that are helping me grow stronger. And for that, you must know I will be forever thankful. So now all I can hope for is that all of you that have supported me will pay it forward by guiding women who need it to our local resources that are available, or by donating, if you can, to one of those nonprofit groups you'll find on my website. I posted a link on my Facebook page. Just look for Linda Hurtado WFTS under pages, or you can email me here at the station, lhurtado@wfts.com. I can't thank all of our viewers enough, because you really helped me forget about the pain during some trying times, and it made me feel better. Thanks.
Again, you're taking the spotlight off yourself, Linda, here, obviously, and you're telling everybody about the resources that are out there. But I want to put the spotlight on you here for a second, because Dennis and I were talking about this earlier. You look fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
How you feeling?
Well, you know, I do feel pretty good. I have good and bad days, I'll admit, and I may be grumpy, but you all will never know it. Only Jameson and Dennis will, I promise.
Good.
But, you know, I'm getting through it, and my doctors say I'm cancer-free. I know there's no 100% guarantee, but I feel good, and, you know, now I want my mission to be to help others.
Yeah, and all the viewers are already chiming in on Facebook.
That's helping. Yeah, your Facebook family. I just put Linda's back, like hundreds of likes, and some folks saying they have mammograms scheduled because of you, Linda.
Many of you have been following Linda's journey as she battled breast cancer. She's on medical leave right now after a final reconstructive surgery. When Linda made her initial announcement in October, many women contacted ABC Action News asking for information on mammograms for the uninsured and underinsured. It's a cause that Linda feels very strongly about, helping women have access to the simple screening that she says helped to save her life. Here are just some of the women that Linda's story has touched, stories that you may recognize.
I've spent my whole adult life in fear of getting breast cancer. I watched the disease ravage my beautiful mother. When I announced that I had been diagnosed with breast cancer and had chosen to have a double mastectomy, many of you were watching and were moved, not only to tears.
Yeah, and I'm watching it, and Linda, I'll totally cry again if I think about it.
But also to action. Nicole Rivera, despite having very good health insurance, had simply put off her mammogram this year.
It definitely moved me, and of course, you know, working for the American Cancer Society, I should know better, and I know that I need to go and do these things every single year. I think probably being a mother, working full-time and whatnot, we tend to put everyone else before ourselves.
Radiologist ordered more diagnostic tests after finding a suspicious spot on her test.
Of course, fear set in, tears, I was alone. Wasn't fun.
In the end, Nicole was told her diagnostic mammograms were clean. So how does she feel now?
Like I want to pat myself on the back. Much better, very relieved.
I have a history of having the lumps that I've had, and I can feel them, and they're hard, and they don't move.
Renee Forkham also watched my story and felt compelled to get a mammogram. She has cost of share Medicaid and says she spent her holidays going round and round with Medicaid and doctor's offices.
Share of cost Medicaid is where you'll have like an amount of money every single month that you'll have to meet first before they'll pick up the bill.
I want to hang the donut?
With no presents under her tree, she says she couldn't even afford the $186 she'd have to pay up front for a doctor to write a prescription for a mammogram.
My husband's the only one working, and he's also going to school. And we have 4 children, and we live with my parents. My worst fear would be that I have breast cancer. That's at the worst case, and that maybe it's not just in the beginning stages. That might, at this point, it could be even stage 2 or stage 3.
We've hooked her up with a nonprofit raising money for women who fall through the cracks, and we're waiting to hear if Renee qualifies. So now I'm leaving for about 4 to 5 weeks to take action for my own health. I will be back, God willing, cancer-free. And if you can do one thing for me after hearing my story, it would be to schedule a mammogram.
When I look at you and when I saw the video of your saying goodbye and before all your treatment, it just hit me right home.
Lydia had taken advantage of a foundation program at Florida Hospital Tampa that funds free mammograms for the uninsured. So this year she came back. Her mammogram was also clean. But what if doctors had discovered cancer? Lydia is still uninsured.
Well, we have a couple of options that we start with, and luckily Moffitt will take patients that are already diagnosed with breast cancer if you qualify financially, so they will go through a process there. If that doesn't work out, sometimes they'll refer the patient to Judeo-Christian Clinic. And
here's why it is important for you to do the work and find one of these agencies or a nonprofit that will help fund your mammogram if you can't currently afford one. Here was my mammogram in 2010.
You did have some calcifications in the lower aspect of your breast in 2010, and you had a small little group of them nearby.
And here it is in 2011, less than 1 year later.
But in 2011, while the group that was more posterior looked stable to me, the group that was just a little bit away from it had increased in number in terms of the calcifications. And so that was what really triggered me to say there's something going on in her breast.
Had I skipped a year for whatever reason, I probably would have been diagnosed with invasive, not early stage cancer. If you're like one of the women you've just met and you're putting off a mammogram, go get one, please. If money is the issue, I've listed numerous resources on my website for the un- or underinsured in our area. I hope, as these ladies did, that you will take time to check them out and take action for yourself or someone you love. Taking action against breast cancer. Linda Hurtado, ABC Action News.
The Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure raises money for research and also helps to pay for mammograms for uninsured women. Linda and I will be taking part in the inaugural race in Polk County Saturday, January the 14th. Members of ABC Action News and station employees have formed ABC Action News Team Linda. If you would like to join our team, register now. Visit KomenSuncoast.org, click on to join an existing team, and then look for ABC Action News Team Linda. She'll be on location on race day at the ABC Action News booth. And the January edition of Tampa Bay Parenting Magazine features a very personal story by Linda on how she broke the news of her cancer to her little girls. An inspiring story you won't want to miss.